Hey everybody. Welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel, #MovieBay. It's your girl Movie Bay, and in this video, I'm going to be doing a review over Ryan Coogler's latest project entitled Sinners. Now, before we get into it though, if you are new here, don't forget to drop down and hit the subscribe button, because here on Movie Bay, I do reviews, reactions, and commentary to movies and television, and if that's the type of content you like, you might as well stick around and hit the subscribe button. If you find yourself enjoying my commentary along the way, don't be afraid to give the video a thumbs up. Really push your girl into the algorithm, because your girl been gone for a while, okay? And of course, leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. I know y'all have thoughts and opinions, especially on this movie, so I'm gonna need to see them comments go up, okay? So let's talk about my little hiatus real quick. It took me about 6 weeks to review this movie, because when it comes to projects that are really good to me, I want to make sure I don't just hop on and just start talking, right? Like, I want to make sure that I do that project justice. Like, I really sit and think about what I want to say. However, I get in my head and I be like, I don't want to miss anything, especially with a movie like this. It's so much to talk about. But I decided to get out of my head and just speak from my heart. And how this review is going to go, I'm going to give of course, my traditional review, where I talk about what I liked, what I didn't like, my rating, and my recommendation. And then, if you can tell by the title, it's going to be a thematic review. So I'm going to go over a couple of themes, maybe like 3 or 4 themes that I noticed in the movie that I really want to talk about. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get into Sinners. So the synopsis reads: trying to leave their troubled lives behind, twin brothers return to their hometown to start again, only to discover that an even greater evil is waiting to welcome them back. Now, of course, it is written, directed, produced by Ryan Coogler. Y'all know him for Black Panther, Creed, Fruitvale Station. All those movies also have Michael B. Jordan in common. So you know he can't do it without his right-hand man, Michael B. Okay. Of course, this movie stars Michael B. Jordan, Miles Caton in his movie debut. Wunmi Masaku. I just looked his name up. I hope I didn't pronounce it wrong. Haley Steinfeld and Delroy Lindo. Okay, lots of great actors in this movie. Can't name them all, but shout out to them. All right. So let's go ahead and get into what I liked about this particular film. So we're going to start with the plot, the story. I liked it. I liked that it was twin brothers. They coming back from they served in the war. They left the South. Now they're coming back to the South. You know, they kind of got like a troubled past, the troubled reputation. You know what I'm saying? And they have goals of starting up a juke joint. Now they don't tend to stay there. They just need some quick, hot, fast money, right? Now, how vampires gets thrown into this, we're gonna talk about that. But initially, with the promotion of this movie, I wasn't interested, because I'm not really a period piece girly, especially set back then, because you know, and I just don't like seeing a lot of that. But and then I was like, vampires, what the hell really going on? Michael B. Jordan in a vampire movie, what the hell is going on? For real. But watching the movie, I liked the story, and I liked the fact that it was different. Now, this goes into my second bullet point. It's a different take on a new genre. So in my personal, it's a new genre where Black stories are being told with elements of horror in there. My earliest recollection is Jordan Peele with Get Out, one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. Black stories told, you know what I'm saying, with a sprinkle of horror. He continued that with Us, and then if you have Amazon Prime, you probably have seen or watched, and this was my first, in my opinion, I think my first viral series anyways, was Them by Little Marvin. That's on Amazon Prime. Black stories with elements of horror, okay? Because I like this genre, because if you think about it, Africans, our past, our history is horrific. So how else am I supposed to tell? You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you're watching like documentaries, it's horror elements in there. It's crazy, just, you know what I'm saying? So to make this a whole genre, some people like it, some people don't. I do, especially how I was about to say Little Marvin Child, how Ryan Coogler did this one. All right, so he threw in vampires. So with this genre, you're not seeing the traditional traumatic actions that are done towards Black people. You're not seeing that you did like the lynching. You're not, I mean, it's mentioned, but you're not seeing that. What you're seeing is vampires doing it for us. Vampires are going to take the place. Even when the white people came in towards the end, they didn't even get a chance. So, it's the different part of a new genre. And I personally liked how he did that. You know what I'm saying? We can still get the Black stories without the trauma per se that is usually attached to it. All right, I had to turn my fan on, y'all. It's hot. I'm in Texas. All right. Another thing that I liked, and this is kind of the last thing I liked a lot of things about the movie, but I'm trying to keep it short. Comedic. I liked how funny this movie was. I didn't expect it to be funny at all, honestly, especially when it's such a serious subject matter. However, with it being, it's not heavy, but with it being a serious subject matter, I do like the fact that comedic elements are added in to kind of lighten the mood. All right. So, those are the major things that I really liked about this movie. I'm going to go ahead and get into my rooms for improvement. I don't like to really call them cons. Rooms for improvement. Now, this is my personal opinion, you guys. This is my personal opinion. Okay, my personal opinion. Mine. You don't have to agree. Just state your opinion in the comment section, okay? If I had to find, like literally me digging, like Shia LaBeouf and holes, if I had to find something that could be worked on or changed in this movie, I found two things, okay? The plot events. So my biggest gripe with movies in general is when movies start with how it ends. You know what I'm saying? And this is also a pro later, but my con is it started with Sammy going into the church after this horrific night, and then of course we get 24 hours later, earlier. I don't like that because I already know that Sammy gonna make it out. It just kind of spoiled it for me, you know what I'm saying? So that's my gripe with movies in general, just like with the escape room. Yeah, the escape room, the first one. It started with the guy making it out of the escape room. So when the movie started, I'm like, that's the same guy from the beginning. I know he's gonna make it out. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my personal gripe. I don't really care for when movies do that. Now what I did like though is we got more to the story. Like, yes, we saw this church scene. However, something else also happens, afterwards. So I did like that. But my personal gripe. I think that they could have had the opening scene with the vampires, with the white guy going up to the house being chased by the Native Americans. I felt like that could have been the opening scene if I had to nitpick something. Okay. Second thing that I felt like could have been improved was the timing. I understand world building. I'm a writer. I understand world building. I understand getting us involved and invested in the characters. I just also felt like it was a lot of that and not a lot of vampire action. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the action was delayed a little bit and then it kind of happened like that. I'm sure that was probably intended. You really want to get us involved and invested in these characters. So when they do, you actually care about them. However, I just kind of wish that it was a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? A little bit more. But it's not a bad thing. That's just my opinion. If I had to pick something to talk about that could be improved, that's my personal opinion. So my overall rating for this movie is going to be 9 out of 10. I forgot to change my recommendation, but it is highly recommended. So if you haven't seen it, I kind of did some spoilers with the room for improvement part. If you haven't seen it, I don't know where you've been, honestly, because it's only been 6 weeks and this movie has grossed over $341 million. Like, come on, bro. Give it the program at this point. Anyways, so that is my spoiler-free review of Sinners. And now we're going to go ahead and get into the thematic review for this particular movie. Now, like I stated earlier, I know there's a lot of conspiracies online. How about this? The good thing about art is that it's left up for interpretation. Meaning me and you can watch the same movie and we walk away with different understandings of it, right? That's the good thing about art, okay? I'm about to talk about some themes that I noticed, in my opinion, on said themes. Okay, of course, leave your thoughts and opinions, because I feel like I have to say this because a lot of people go hard for this movie. A lot of people be riding for this movie so much. Like, I see comment sections. So that's why I'm giving y'all a little preface, okay? But if you noticed any themes that I didn't talk about, please leave them in the comment section, because it could be something that I didn't notice at all. You know what I'm saying? Or it could just simply be something that I didn't talk about. And of course, leave your thoughts and opinions on the ones that I do mention. All right, so let's go ahead and get to the first one: Christianity and African spirituality. All right, so let's start with the Christianity aspect of the movie. The movie is called Sinners. You don't say. It's a lot of sinning going on in this movie. Okay, so we have the Stack twins. Of course, they violent. Okay, they smoking and drinking, and they're greedy, right? They all about the money. They all about that paper, okay? Everybody is engaging in premarital sex. You got women cheating on their husbands. And then, of course, you have the music, okay? The devil music. It's very much so footloose, okay? Miles' father, Sammy. Why did I say Miles? Whose name is Miles in here? Sammy's father is a preacher. He's a preacher boy. And of course, as y'all know by the opening scene, you know, he tells him, hey, you need to, don't be tempted. You know what I'm saying? The devil gonna follow you home one day. You keep playing with him, the devil gonna follow you home one day. So of course, the pastor, is thinking or believes that this blues music that Sammy is engaging in is work of the devil. Okay, and like I stated, it is very much so footloose. Anything that is different is kind of looked down upon. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the root work, African spirituality of it all. Root work is basically an African tradition. It was our, you know, like I said, religion, spirituality is how we healed, how we protected, you know, things like that. Back in Africa, you know, where our roots are from. However, when, you know, history were brought over, when we were brought over, some of that tradition is lost, of course. Some people still practice. Now, however, let's talk about, this is why I really want to talk about it, the difference between, all right? So when Smoke, right? Yeah, when Smoke, and Annie, I'm trying to make sure I get these names right, y'all. It's been like a week since I've seen the movie last. But when they have their scene or what have you, he is talking down upon her beliefs. You know what I'm saying? And that's common because a lot of African Americans, especially that I know, especially, it was a movie called Spell, if I'm not mistaken, was really heavy. It really touched on root work in general. And a lot of people like, oh, that's the devil's magic, and, you know, it's voodoo and all type of stuff like that, when, you know, if you really do your research, it's not. You know what I'm saying? So that was a theme that I found in this film that I want to talk about. And of course, at the end of the day, when it came down to it, that root work, that little pack he had on him, saved Smoke's life. So even though he didn't believe in it, it definitely was protecting him, right? All right, let's go ahead and, oh yeah, and of course, in this movie, of course, I have to look at my slideshow real quick. In this movie, of course, the devil is going to be the vampires. All right, that's the evil. And I think I want to speak on that some more. That's the evil that's in this movie that is going to end up following Sammy home. I like how in the movie, I can't remember what Annie called them. She was like, this isn't the work of something, this is vampires, and vampires is worse because, and I'm gonna get into this in a later theme as well. She said vampires is worse because it's like their spirit is stuck on earth. You know what I'm saying? And if you really think about it, vampires, like, they go out at night. You know what I'm saying? You can't even enjoy a majority of the day. You know what I'm saying? You got like 8 hours to live it up. No, I'm just playing. But so yeah, like, this is a different type of evil that she was even she was, you know, knowledgeable about, but hadn't seen before. All right, let's go ahead and get into our next theme, which is blues and cultural appropriation. Now, this one, you guys, I had a hard time keeping the cultural appropriation. This one I had to look up because I think what had happened was my definition of cultural appropriation as I was trying to relate it to this movie was very one-track mind. Like, I was thinking white people trying to be like black people. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was thinking. However, the cultural appropriation aspect is them gentrifying, taking the blues and turning it into something that ain't got no soul. Okay. Anyways, let's talk about it. Let's start with the blues so I can get into the cultural appropriation of it all. So if you don't know, blues is originated by black folk. If you didn't know, if you don't know, now you know. Mississippi origin, and the blues is very much so emotional and expressive. You know, my girlfriend left me. You know, yeah, like you got the blues. You sad. You know what I'm saying? So, upon research, now that I didn't know, upon research though, I found out that, of course, during the Great Migration, black people left the South, went up north, and this is when the blues was started expanding really in Chicago, and that kind of relates to Smoke and Stack being from Chicago. Sammy wanted to go up to Chicago, Sammy being this great blues singer. Okay, history. Okay, Ryan Coogler. And even blues was then electrified with the electric guitar. And I said, that was in the movie too. Okay, Coogler. Okay, research. Okay, knowledge. Okay, history. So I liked that historical element in there. I like when I learned something that I didn't know, especially when it's about my people from movies. And of course, the blues basically influenced a whole many different types of genre. R&B, rock and roll, jazz, so on and so forth. Okay. The cultural appropriation, right? So what not okay. Let's talk about the dance floor scene. This is a scene that is highly praised for Ryan Coogler, and I can say that this will be like his directorial moment. You know, like if you can think about a director and their staple, I think this particular scene will be Ryan Coogler's staple. So the dance floor scene is, of course, when Sammy is performing, and then you kind of see how music transcends time and it goes to the African roots, and then you see hip hop, and then you see interpretive dancing, you see ballet, you even see I don't know the proper name for it, but the Asian cultural dance as well. And even though I understood the scene, I personally didn't like that scene. Ooh, don't shoot me. I understand the scene. It just made my head hurt. It was too much going on for me. But it definitely showed how music transcends times and how blues was literally the beginning of all of these different types of genres. Okay. And that goes into the cultural appropriation. Man, we can't have nothing for ourselves, can we? So we had these white vampires come up to our juke joint trying to get in on us. Like, bro, this is ours, for us, by us. No, you cannot come in. So they sing their little ditty outside. Pitbull Johnny Clean, get your ass. It reminded me of Dreamgirls. Oh, I got me a Cadillac, ooh. Can't stand it. So the fact that I couldn't even see that originally, I was like, got it, got it. And then once they started turning, because that's what I saw. But when they started turning, this part broke my heart. When I found out that nobody left the juke joint alive and everybody got turned into vampires in the parking lot, I said, damn, bro, nobody made it home, bro. Ain't nobody made it. But then they got them outside doing the Irish river dance. Oh my God, my dad would have loved that scene because that just cracks him up every time he see line dance and river dance, and that just cracks him up. But taking the soul out of not only the people, okay, but the music as well. Okay, now something else I looked up. This one I can't, I'm not gonna argue against it, but people said that it's also symbolism for how the music industry will, of course, take from black people, have black people sell their souls, and just take control over their original art form, and where it's no longer what it was. You know what I'm saying? Did I say that right, y'all? Y'all understand what I'm saying? Right. Boom. And of course, my last example of cultural appropriation is the white girl trying to be black. Now, I was talking about the last time I seen this movie. I've seen this movie twice. The last time I saw it was when I was getting my hair done. And don't ask no questions. Don't ask no questions. But I didn't think about it. How the white girl, what was her name, y'all? Y'all know her name here. Like I said, I haven't names, child. In the movie, and I'm happy I watched it twice, because I was like, okay, she said her mom's dad is black, and I said, oh, but you white. Girl, what? You got 25% black in you. You think you black? So I just thought that was interesting, because I was like, but back in the day, that one drop rule made you black. And like, she was, I didn't want to be white. I ain't wanted to be with you. But she was passing. But if the white people found out that she had that one drop, they would have killed her. Today, by my standards, 25%, baby, you're not black. Get out of here. Yes, go talk to them. Go talk to them and see about the money. You don't belong here. I wanna be down. I don't know. I didn't really care for her in this movie. No Tina Shay. I didn't really care for her, especially because she got Stack killed, Smoke Stack, whatever the kid's name is. She got one of them. Temptation, giving it to that white devil. See, should have been messing with that girl in the first place. I'm sorry. I should pull up a list of names. I should pull up their names. Yeah, let's do that real quick, just in case I have to reference back. Stack and Smoke. I called them the Stack twins. What was their names? Oh, I called him Mouse because his real name is Mouse. See, I knew I wasn't just talking out my butt. But anyways, I think this is the last theme that I do want to talk about. Sorry for the mini rant there, you guys. Sorry about that. But if you are enjoying the commentary thus far, give the video a thumbs up. Drop your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. My last thematic theme that I want to talk about is racial violence and oppression. Now, as previously stated, let me get myself back off the screen. As previously stated, this is a new take on a new genre. A lot of people did not like Little Marvin's project Them because they said it was trauma P. Okay, black trauma P on top of that. There was a scene where the woman was grape juiced, assaulted, and then the baby was unalived. And like I stated, as much as that is dark and disturbing and just unfortunate, it happened. You know what I'm saying? I personally felt like he did it in a tasteful way, but I guess Ryan Coogler is proof that you can have that same message without doing those same tropes. All right. So the vampires, I have my nose here. The vampires are that new trope. They're still coming in and killing the black folk. They're just biting them in the neck. Now, here is the thing about these vampires. The vampires were offering a way out of oppression. Malachi, whatever, what was the guy name? I feel like Malachi is a good name for the white vampire. Remick. That's fitting. He offered them, and of course, when the twin turned as well as the white girl, it's better over here. We could all be together, eternal life. Nobody can mess with us. We're all a family. It's a unity over here. You know what I'm saying? So they offered this vampire biting as a way out of the oppression. Because right now, it's today still, but especially back then, black people, you're not really, you know what I'm saying? Like, they in an era where, black people are thriving to their own, a little bit, but not how we are now. Of course, you still don't have freedom, real freedom to do a lot of things. So this was Remic's way of trying to get them to come over to the dark side. Now, one thing that Remic did say though, what did it say? One thing that I was confused about with the vampires is Remic, when he was talking to Sammy when it was in the water, and Sammy started saying the Lord's Prayer, and Remic started reciting it, and he was like, this religion was not my people's religion. It was taught to us, but it sure is comforting. And I was like, is Remic black? Like, is he the soul of a, you know what I'm saying? Or is that him trying to relate to Sammy? You know what I'm saying? Because, they say vampires can see, all the trauma, and they know your life story and all that stuff. So I was like, okay, well, maybe his soul not black. But it kind of would make sense. Okay, conspiracy theory. It kind of would make sense that Remic's soul is black because he's trying to get the black people to come over to be vampires so we won't be oppressed no more. You know what I'm saying? Or it could just be a ruse just to get them to turn. Whatever. Oppression. Remic gave a warning that the Klan was going to come and burn y'all establishment to the ground. Like, you really thought that you had something of your own? Absolutely not. White certain people don't like to see you thrive, especially if you thrive better than them. Where all these black people where these black boys get this money from? This more money than I got. They don't like that. They don't want to see you succeed. So he said, they're gonna come back in the morning and burn it down anyways. And guess what they did? They came back in the morning and burned it down anyways. Well, my bad, they tried. But Smoke was ready for this. Okay, he was ready for this. And at the very end, Sammy was asked a question, or he told one of the twins, the one that was a vampire, he told them that, before, all the vampire stuff, this was the best day of my life. For a moment, I felt free. And then they had like a flashback of everybody on the dance floor, partying, living it up, drinking, eating fish, like really having fun and feeling free for just that moment, escaping from the hardships of life, escaping from their jobs, picking cotton, escaping from all of that, and just having a genuine good time. And the white man, let me mess it up. No, I'm not playing, but I'm not playing. You know what I'm saying? So, movie's deep, bro. Movie is deep, I shall say. And that's just a couple of things. I'm pretty sure that I did not touch on everything that y'all noticed. So if you noticed something I didn't, of course, leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. I don't know if y'all knew this, but there is a sequel in the works. They didn't specify whether it would be a sequel or a prequel, but it's one in the works. Like, it's starting the writing process. I personally don't think it needs one. I don't even want a prequel. I would like to normalize leaving great projects at one. Not everything needs a sequel. Not everything needs a prequel. Sometimes you just leave it alone because it's a classic. Did you see a Pulp Fiction 2? Is there a Pulp Fiction 2? No, I don't think it is. Leave classics alone. I don't even think it needs to be a Lion King 2, but it was. I like Kovu. Couldn't stand Kiara. But sometimes you just need to leave great projects alone. All right. Now, if y'all didn't know, this movie, Sinners, has grossed over $341 million. $261 million being domestic, meaning in America alone. And like I said, it's only been 6 weeks. So shout out to the black people for showing up. Okay, showing up. Because that's what we need to do. In order to get black projects, you need to let those studios know that we really control. Come on, quit playing with us. Quit playing with us. Quit playing with us. Quit playing with us. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning into my YouTube channel. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed the commentary, if you enjoyed the movie. like the video, leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And of course, consider subscribing if you're new here for more reviews. Binge my channel, binge my playlist. I promise you're going to come across something that you like. With that being said, thank y'all so much for tuning in. I will see y'all next time. Bye.